The Para Cave podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Para Leagues, platinum sponsor Baytech Recruitment, The Corner Post, Wick Coffee, Ashore Strata Reports, Spot On Hose and Fittings, Wine Barrel Event Hire Sydney, Rubbish Removal Kings, and Flash Conveyancing.
We are Flash Conveyancing, your property legal team, and you're listening the Para Cave podcast. If you are buying or selling property in New South Wales, call us. Call Flash Conveyancing.
Baytech Recruitment. Baytech Recruitment. Where we're gonna find you the perfect match. All the tradies you can think of in any industry. Look out for a wrapped up Mitsubishi, Fridgie, Sparkies, Bombers Plus. Whatever the trade, just give us a buzz. Baytech Recruitment.
Give us a buzz now.
So give Chris a buzz on 0414 922 272 today. Hi, how are ya? Welcome back to the Para Cave podcast. Troy Warner here. This is the NRL preview podcast brought to you by Flash Conveyancing. Give them a follow on Instagram. That would be fantastic. And look, I really appreciate the support from Flash Conveyancing in 2026. And look, as I said, this is the NRL preview podcast. And this is round number 18 of the NRL. Only, nine rounds to go in the competition. So getting down to the nitty gritty. And look, this is a Origin affected round as there's only 5 games on this weekend. Kicking off at 8 p.m. on Friday at CommBank Stadium. It's the Panthers taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And look, you have heard me all before about the 8 p.m. kickoff on Friday night when there's only one game. I hate it. Should it be 7:30? Yes, I think it should be. Let me know what your thoughts are, but yeah, I reckon it should be 7:30. I mean, just bring that little bit, half an hour bit forward. For the old people, for the kids as well. I know it's school holiday start this weekend, but nevertheless, someone like me who might even fall asleep during this game if it's not a good game. If it was a Para game, I wouldn't fall asleep. But anyway, it is Panthers and Rabbitohs at CommBank Stadium. So second week in a row now that the Rabbitohs have played at CommBank Stadium, obviously beating the Parramatta Eels, my side, 32 points to 12 last weekend. So still disappointed about that one, but that's okay. Now the Panthers, they are without their Origin stars, obviously. They are out without Nathan Cleary. They are also out without Isaiah Yeo and Liam Martin as well. But they are also without Isaiah Papali'i as well, concussion protocols. And they also are out. That's who they got out for this side for this game. So 3 big superstars there. Liam Martin obviously coming back into the Blues side, and Nathan Cleary and Isaiah Yeo in for game 3. Isaiah, the captain of the Blues. So look, Jack Cogger, he comes in at halfback for Nathan Cleary. And Scott Sorensen, Luke Garner and Lindsay Smith are in the forward pack for the Panthers. Now, Coach Ivan Cleary was very disappointed about their loss last week against the Cowboys. Apparently only about 13 or 14 words said in the press conference from him. So will we see a loss 2 weeks in a row? I tell you, one player who will be up for a big game is Brian Toto, after not making game 3 of State of Origin, being dropped for that game, so he'll be out for a massive game. News this week too that Moses Leota has been granted permission to test the open market as well. So big news there. A few clubs in the race for his signature. I think it's for 2028. Parramatta maybe could be a good fit there. There's a few other clubs as well. 2028 is when the PNG Chiefs come in as well. Maybe he'll go there. Maybe somewhere else as well. Who knows? Maybe he'll follow his former premiership winning teammate Jerome Loy over to PNG. Who knows? So Moses Leota, that was the news about him as well this week. So those two players will probably be up for big games, I reckon, just to show, Moses to show the open market what he is worth, and Brian Toto up for a big game after being dropped. I think Dylan Edwards, he'll be up for a big game as well because, he obviously didn't make the State of Origin side as well. Tom Jenkins, he leads the try scoring list. Will he get another try on the weekend? I am going to say yes, he will. For the Rabbitohs, still no Latrell Mitchell. They are without, obviously, Cameron Murray, their captain, which, inspirational captain, you could say. So Cody Walker takes that captaincy from Cam Murray. Now, he scored 2 tries last week against the Eels. But the big news for the Rabbitohs is Jack Whiten comes back after, I think it was a broken arm. So he comes back into the side, which is great news for him. He spent 6 games on the sideline. And Tallis Duncan, how good is he going? He could be an Origin smoky, or not a smoky, he could be an Origin player next year, I reckon. He's going really well. He was playing in the centres. He is going back to the back row, so that is a good news for him. He's probably his favoured position, I think. Lachlan Hubner is a new lock. So Matt Duffy has also been added to the 6-man bench as well. So, look, I don't know. I reckon the Rabbitohs could probably get this job done, to be honest, against the Panthers. I mean, they played all right against Parramatta, although this is a Panthers side. The next man up mentality, it will be interesting. I don't think they lose too many games in a row. So they've lost 2 in a row now against the Titans and the Cowboys. Will they get the hat trick? I'm going to tip the Rabbitohs in this one. I've got a feeling their forward pack's pretty solid. Tavita Tola, Brandon Smith, who had a good game last week. Obviously, Keon Matangi, David Fafita, Tallis Duncan, Lachlan Hubner. I think Cody Walker last week played pretty good. Jai Gray at the back there, I like him as well. So I'm going to tip the Rabbitohs, and I think I'm going to tip a 1-12, and I think, as I mentioned, Tom Jenkins will score a try for the Panthers. For the Rabbitohs, I'm going to say, on his return, I'm going to say Jack Whiten will get a try for that in that game. The first game on Saturday, only the 2 games on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. at Cogra Jubilee Oval, better known now as St George Venues Jubilee Stadium. Probably always be Cogra Oval to me, but the Dragons take on the Tigers in the first game on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. So, look, the Dragons, let's start with those guys. And look, they have been playing some good footy of late. They just haven't been getting the wins, unfortunately. 3 straight losses now for them. But they have been playing better football than what they had at the start of the season. They had that win against the Broncos, 30 points to 26, but have been playing better, just not getting the results. They nearly jagged the win against the Newcastle Knights a couple of weeks ago. The Raiders, they were in and out of that game as well. But for them, well, look, no changes to the side that went down to the Raiders last week. So that's always good, that you have that consistency in that side. Moses Sully is listed among the reserves as he looks to return from a hip injury that has seen him miss the past 2 games. So good news for them. A few changes in the Tigers side. Skipper Jerome Luai has suffered delayed concussion symptoms, so he will be rested from this game. Jock Madden, who's done a job before this season, comes in. He returns from a concussion that he suffered in round 16. Taylor May, unfortunately, is out, a shoulder injury. Hamisi Makasini comes in to start at centre. And the crowd favourite, Alex Twal, he returns after 4 games with a knee injury, so Alex Seyfarth reverts to the bench. And Charlie Murray, I haven't heard of him before. He joins the 6-man bench in favour of Mav Geyer, who is in jersey number 22. Mav, of course, has signed with the Perth Bears for next season, following in the footsteps of his dad, the legendary Mark Geyer, Big MG, who started off at Penrith, went to the Tigers, and then played for the Western Reds over in Perth. So I always love a little bit of a fairy tale story like that. So wish Mav all the best next year over at Perth. It's great to see. But look, the Tigers, they have been a bit up and down of late. They have had 2 wins out of their last 5, so a little bit up and down there. So look, they will want to stay in touch with this top 8, because at the moment they sit in 11th spot on the ladder, so they are on 18 points, along with the Bulldogs, also on 18 points, but the Bulldogs and Cowboys have a bye this weekend, so the Cowboys will go to 22 and the Bulldogs will go to 20, so a much needed win for the Tigers this week. They need to win just to stay in touch with that top 8. The Sharks are in 8th spot at the moment on 22 points, so if they win against the Broncos, which is a pretty good chance, we'll get to that game a little bit later, they will jump to 24. So this is a must-win game for the Tigers if they want to play finals football. They had been playing great footy at the start of the year, but then there's just a few injuries here and there, and they've been brought back down to earth. So, look, they can score some great tries. It was great to see Adam Dewey back last week. He was pretty good last week in his return after a long layoff from injury, but great to see him. The key player for the Tigers, I think, will be Api Coruscant. Obviously didn't make the State of Origin side for game number 3, so again he'll be up for a big game against the former New South Wales hooker and Damien Cook as well. So this will be an interesting game. Look, I think the Dragons can get this win 1-13. 1-12. I think the Dragons can win this game at Cogra Oval. They've been there or thereabouts, and this is a sort of game that they can win and knock around the Tigers' finals chances. So look, you know what? I am going to tip the Dragons in this one. In terms of a try scorer, well, I'm going to say Valentine Holmes gets a try for the Dragons, and for the Tigers, I am going to say, I think, look, it'd be, pretty funny of me to tip Alex Twal to get, his second try, I think. But I'm going to say Api Coruscant. I think he's going to do a sneak over from dummy half. There you go. Mark that one down. See what happens there. There you go. Api Coruscant to score a try as well. Saturday night, the second game is that game that I mentioned before. There's Sharks and Broncos up at Suncorp Stadium. The Broncos, they've obviously got their Origin players out. So, couple of Queenslanders, Reece Walsh, Pat Carrigan, and also Payne Haas for New South Wales. Alblix Tafa has done his ankle. Josiah Karapani, a club suspension. So we won't talk about that one too much because, it's not good at all. Gemet Shibasaki returns from a knee injury, so that's good. And Grant Anderson goes to the wing. Jesse Arthurs drops to the bench. Hayes Perham, who used to play for Parramatta a long time ago, and the Bulldogs, he is a new fullback. So Be interested to see how Hayes goes. And for the Sharkies, well, they've got a couple of New South Wales players on representative duty, Adam Fanua-Blake and Blake Brayley as well. So Tom Hazelton goes into prop, and Jaden Berrell goes into the hooking position. They've also got Britton Nickera as well, Queenslander. He is replaced by Billy Burns as well. So pretty fair replacement there. But look, the Broncos, what is going on there? So many dramas there. They desperately need a win to stay in touch with that top 8. I don't think they can make the finals. They are on 14 points in 13th spot. So, yeah, I don't think they can make the finals, even if they win every game from here on in. Look, if they do that, maybe, but I don't think they can make the finals. They've got a pretty tough draw going into the finals, so I think they will lose this game too as well. So there you go. I'm just tipping the Sharkies there. But the last time they met was last year, 34 points to 28 in favour of the Broncos. I think they've lost 7 straight now. The Sharkies, they went down to the Roosters having a bye last week, I think it was. And that was the week before, but before that, 4 straight wins. So they're travelling along not too bad, but they'll want to get up into that top 4 because, as we know, the NRL can't be won without getting into that top 4 at the moment. No team has ever won the competition from outside the top 4. So a couple of teams have made the grand final, but just haven't gone on to win the competition. So that will be interesting to see what happens there. As I said, I think the Sharkies, I think they're just too good in this game. They still have a pretty fair squad with a lot of talent. Nico Hines is still the halfback. He'll be up for a big game against Benny Hunt. Yeah, I think the Sharkies will get this win up there in Queensland. They've got a very good backline. Katoni Staggs, look, he'll be up for a big one after being dropped from Origin, no doubt. But, look, I don't think he was any good in game number 2. Didn't do much in game number 1, to be honest, either. So I like the centre combination of Crichton and Bradman Best for game number 3. So he'll be up for a big game. Ben Hunt, he'll be leading this team around. He has to. He's the halfback. He's the most experienced player on the field, actually, I think. Played over 300 games. So I just can't see the Broncos winning. I just cannot see them winning, and I don't know what all the dramas are up there. In terms of a try scorer, well, look, Ronaldo Mulatalo for the Sharkies. I'll go him for a try. Look, I just hope he can cut out all the crazy play that he does. All the egging on of the opposition. That Roosters game, he was in the face of the wingers and the centres all game. And look, I mean, yeah, you want to try and get under your skin of your opponents somehow, but not every single time. I don't like it. I'm sure he will probably curb that back and concentrate on his football because he can score some great tries, Ronaldo Mulatalo, so he will score a try in this game. I'm actually going to tip the Sharks 13 plus in this game. For the Broncos, well, I will say Shibasaki will get a try. The first game on Sunday is a game I will be at, and that is at CommBank Stadium. Parramatta Eagles taking on the Manly Sea Eagles. The high-flying Manly Sea Eagles. They are in 6th spot on the ladder at the moment. Parramatta down in 15th. So, look, they will want to get a win to stay away from second last. They are a few points away from the wooden spoon at the moment, but yeah, not in a position where eyes and many other fans want to be. So, look, I won't say a must-win game. Well, it is a must-win game for Parramatta, but just to get that confidence up. But More important for Manly, they are in a group of teams on 22 points, the Rabbitohs and Sharks, so they will know their results before they play this game on Sunday. But they want to jump up to 24 points. And look, you've got the Knights, the Roosters, the Dolphins, and the Warriors on 24 points. The Warriors and Roosters have a bye this weekend, so they'll go up to 26. So Manly will want to win this game just to stay in touch with that top four. Just like I mentioned before. Now, for the Parramatta Eels, Mitchell Moses is representing New South Wales in game number 3. So they are... he is out, and Jonah Pezzett comes back in the number 7 jersey to replace him. A lot of people thought it might have been Joash Papali at number 6 and Ronald Volkman at 7, but Jonah Pezzett has come back to replace Mitchell Moses. So very interesting one there, that is for sure. Other than that, the team stays the same. For Manly, well, they have Homoli Olakwatu and Tolu Kula out for Origin duty, and unfortunately Luke Brooks is out with an ACL injury. He had been playing some good footy this season. That means that the young gun, apparently, Joey Walsh, comes into the side at number 6, and also Ruben Garrick returns as well, so that is good news for Manly fans. And of course they got Tom Trbojevic there as well as the captain. So look, he didn't make Origin. I thought he might have had a chance, but unfortunately he didn't. Nathan Brown playing against his old club. He'll be fired up, no doubt, running off the back fence like he does. Geez, doesn't the Manly crowd get excited when he does that? Look, a lot of you will probably think that I will tip Parramatta, and look, I would be crazy to at the moment. I think I know they will put in the best effort that they can. I just think Manly, they have a lot to play for. They gave it to the Storm last week. I will be very happy if Parramatta can pull off an upset. Let me tell you that. I think Josh Adokar, he is due for a try. He has not scored in a while, so I'm tipping him for a try for Parramatta. Look, I am going to tip Manly, although probably in my tipping comp, I'll probably tip Parramatta anyway because I can't tip against them. And look, if they do end up winning, I get a tip in the tipping comp and I'm happy. For Manly, I will say Lehigh Hopewadi will get a try for Manly. Many people will say it'll probably be Manly 13 plus, but look, I'll be happy with a 1-12. If Manly do go on to win, I'll be happy with 1-12. But I can feel an upset, maybe. I just hope that Parramatta turn up, and you will see that if they receive the kickoff. You can generally tell. But I am really hoping for a good performance. I know they will. I know they'll put everything in. But the Manly side are travelling pretty well. But you'll hear more about that in my game preview podcast as well, which will be out very, very soon, probably the next day after this one. So you can listen to that one. The last game of round number 18 on Sunday, 4:05 p.m, is the Newcastle Knights taking on the Dolphins. Now, interesting one for the Dolphins. They have a lot of players out. One through injury, which is Isaiah Katoa, which is a massive injury there. And also Origin duty as well. You got Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, Jack Bostock, who's making his debut for New South Wales, Max Plath, Selwyn Cobbo, and Tom Flegler for Queensland. For Newcastle, Bradman Best and Kalen Ponga are out on representative duties. So Fletcher Sharp slides to fullback to cover Kalen Ponga, and Fletcher Hunt, the other Fletcher, comes into the centres to replace Bradman Best. So it's a pretty handy recalls players there. Sandon Smith moves from the bench to 5'8", and Harrison Graham is added to a 6-man bench. Now, the changes for the Dolphins: Trey Fuller, he's back at fullback. How good is that to replace Hammer? Not as good a player as Hammer, but can play some pretty good footy and score some long range tries and make some. He makes every post a winner when he plays. A late developer in rugby league, and he just makes every post a winner whenever he plays. So Felice Kafusi is also in the starting side as well for Tom Flegler. Brad Schneider replaces Isaiah Katoa. Tom Gilbert is back as well, so that's great news for them. And Jake Averillo comes into the centres as well, which is great news for the Dolphins anyway. So, look, this one's going to be a hard one to tip. I've got a feeling, Dylan Lucas, didn't make game 3 for Newcastle, so I am going to think he would be up for a big game as well, just to show them what they're missing out on. Because being dropped from State of Origin is always disappointing. I wouldn't know because I haven't been a player. I haven't been an NRL player. But at home, the Newcastle faithful will turn up. Hopefully it's a sunny day. Last week it was a bit of a rainy old day up there at Newcastle. The players, though, the Dolphins, they have had 8 straight victories now. They've had 8 straight victories. I can't remember what I said on the tipping podcast now that I did with Ella a couple of days ago, but I'm actually going to tip the Dolphins. How's that? I think, they've still got a quality back line and some good forwards, and they're going for every game you win, you're closer to a loss, no doubt. But I think if this is a game that they do lose. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go Newcastle. You know why? Because the Dolphins have won 8 in a row. I'm going to go the Newcastle Knights, a home side, to spring an upset. There's always an upset each round, isn't there? I'm going to go Newcastle. There you go. Forget what I said. Newcastle 1-12. How's that? In terms of try scorers, I think Dane Gagai will get a try. And look, maybe his centre opposite Herbie Farmworth will get a try as well. He's always good for a try. But yeah, Knights 1-12. There you go. I'm going to go the Knights in the upset. So, look, repeating who I'm going for anyway, you would have heard that in the tipping podcast, and I probably said different tips on here than I did there. Whoops. I'm going to go the Rabbitohs. I'm going to go the Dragons, Sharks, Eels, and Dolphins. There you go. 7 teams have the bye as well. Bulldogs, Cowboys, Raiders, Roosters, Storm, Titans, Warriors. There you go. Now, also this week as well, today actually, Thursday, Sharks and the NRLW starts as well. So that's great to see the women back playing rugby league again in the NRLW competition. That is awesome. So Sharks and Knights kick off that one, followed by Titans and Roosters and Dragons and Raiders on Saturday. And actually it's a triple header on Sunday because the Broncos and Cowboys also play as well. On Sunday, before the NRL game, the Eels take on the West Tigers at CommBank Stadium. And on Sunday as well, the Warriors take on the Bulldogs. So yeah, great to see the W come back. And look, if I can get to CommBank Stadium early enough, I will watch the NRLW because I enjoy watching that. It is some quality football. So, look, if you can get there to the NRLW games, then please do it. Support the women. That would be great to see. It's a great competition and it's only growing and growing and growing. So some great football being played there. We only saw that in the State of Origin series a couple of months ago now. So that one is back as well. In terms of news in the NRL, well, I don't think there is any news floating around at the moment. In the NRL, look, it's about all Origin these days, isn't it? Oren Keeley has signed with the Dolphins. That's immediate effect after being granted an early release from his contract with the Dolphins. So 2020 already signed. He was already signed at the Storm for 27-28, but he will go there after the club's Storm's round 18 bye. No, yeah, it's all state of origin news at this time of the week, time of year anyway. Just that build up for game number 3, July 8. New South Wales, they have set up camp on the Gold Coast, I think now, from what I heard on the news. So good luck to them up there. And look, as I said, no other real signing news this week. As I mentioned before, Josiah Karapani got himself in a little bit of trouble up there in Brisbane, so he is serving a club suspension at the moment. But yeah, no other real news except for the NRLW kicking off as well this week. So thank you very much for listening to this podcast. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, and also YouTube as well. I really appreciate the support if you give me a follow on all of those. Also Instagram and also Facebook as well. That would be great. And you may even see me out and about at Combank Stadium on Sunday. So if you do, don't hesitate. Come and say g'day, and we'll chat some Parramatta or whatever you want to talk about, footy, whatever. That would be awesome. Always love meeting some listeners of the podcast, and I really appreciate all of your support. The Parra Cave Podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!